Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. So honored to have each of you tuning in today. Looking forward to our conversation, and it is a great time of year. We are in May. I can't believe it's already May. Time goes so quickly. It's a great time to really take a moment, stop, pause, and ask ourselves a question. Are we truly finding joy in who we are, how we're made, how we're bringing our unique gifts forward? Are we truly enjoying being who we are? Are we finding that sometimes we can err or fall on the side of people-pleasing to such an extent that we get a little lost in it? We can start to be pulled so many directions that we can get depleted. So my question today is, are you taking time for you? Are you finding joy in what you're doing, what you're bringing forward, how you're being? Are you playing to the unique gifts and strengths and talents that you have, that you are called to bring to the world? Let's take a moment and just sink into that question a little bit and see, where do we land in that? There's no judgment or criticism. It's curiosity. How are we falling in that? What is bubbling up as we explore this question? I'm finding I feel pressed upon me as the weather's changing that I'm really having this desire to plant, to be out in the beautiful outdoors more than I have been. And so that's something that I find joy in, and I have a gift for growing things and nurturing things. And so it's an opportunity to build that into my life as the seasons change, to bring that as I nourish others. I am nourished at the same time as I'm growing seedlings and plants and finding joy in that. What are some of the things that you can find joy in, that you can bring into your life? As we come together, let's really explore this. I have an amazing expert. We've dedicated the full show today to the conversation of really helping support you in mental wellness and finding that balance and really finding joy and fulfillment in your life. So as we come together, I invite you to pause, take a deep breath all the way to your toes. Breathe out through your mouth like through a straw. And really see what's coming up as you breathe. You become quiet, still, listen. In fact, if you close your eyes, you're absolutely safe. Place both hands on your heart. Take another beautiful breath in. And see as you breathe out, what is it that you need today that will encourage, empower, support you? What will help you bring forward those things that matter most to you today? Your gifts, your talents, your joy, those things that fill you up. What is it that you need today that will help you move forward? And just see. Take another beautiful breath. Picture that oxygen coming in, supporting you. This is your time just for you. Breathe out, releasing what no longer serves, creating room and space for more. Wonderful. So as you're pausing, as you're breathing, I want you to listen. See what is being laid on your heart. In fact, as your hands are resting on your heart, notice the beat. And in between the beat of the heart in that little pause, that little quiet space. What is it that is bubbling up for you to hear, to receive today, to support and encourage you on your journey? What is it you need today? Beautiful. Receive that information. Take another beautiful breath. And as we come back into the room, eyes open, fully present, take a moment and write down what was laid on your heart, what it is that you need and are willing to receive, because you absolutely have choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? Beautiful. I'm going to bring our guest on in just a moment here and have her share that when we took this moment to stop, pause, and listen, what was laid on her heart. So with that, Adrian, I'd love for you to share what was laid on your heart when we took a moment to listen.
Oh, it was beautiful. I received faith in timing. I was sharing with you right before how I was frustrated this morning that my website I was hoping to have my website online, and I'm transferring it before this show, and it wasn't. And so I was frustrated. But that moment that you gave me to breathe, I'm going, faith. I need faith in timing. Just because it's not done today doesn't mean it won't be done tomorrow or next week. But the timing is not relevant right now. Just that I keep going.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I love the grace that you're giving yourself and the whole process, and allowing things to unfold as they're meant to, and trusting that timing. So beautiful. I love that. And we get to release any of that frustration of what isn't, and really embracing and trusting, what is. It's beautiful. Thank you. Mm-hmm. And listeners, how about you? What have you found? Maybe it's got a little different than you expected, the timing, or something that you're working to bring forward. So often I find that when the timing ends up being different, when we look back, there's a reason that was for our good and served when we allowed. So I encourage everyone, that was just laid on my heart, to really honor what is, allow the timing and the flow, trust that it will come forward in the right time, in the right way. You just keep taking the step, putting one foot in front of the other, and trusting that all will come forward. We just keep taking action and steps, and we allow. We don't have to force. We don't have to push. We can allow, and how good that feels. Beautiful. Well, as you're drinking that in and spending this moment pausing, breathing, and reflecting on what's been laid on your heart and what Adrian has shared, seeing how that may have prompted something within you as well as it did within me as I shared, what is it that you need and are willing to create space for and allow? One of the things I have learned, and I get to learn again from time to time, is allowing space and room for growth. I'm really good at filling space and containers, and I can fill my life and things schedule so full. There's no room for unexpected opportunities and even for growth. And so I have found that if I can create space, if I can create room where I'm expecting growth, I'm expecting unseen opportunities that I want to have room and space for, it creates flow and ease, and I'm able to bring those things in without it creating stress and tension. So one of the things, as we get ready to go to our first commercial break, I want you to reflect on what's being laid on your heart, but also take a look at what maybe is pulling at you, and maybe explore, how can I create room and space for a little bit more? And it may be spreading things out, adjusting timelines. So enjoy these 2 minutes as you connect in and see what is laid on your heart and spirit, and we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow Voice America at facebook.com/Voice America for juicy updates from your favorite radio shows and podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and we're pausing, breathing, seeing what was bubbling up, perhaps some insights or perspective or something you may want to spend a little time taking a look at and seeing if timelines or space needs to adjust a little bit to support you. Because guess what? Here's a secret I've learned. You get to be in charge. You get to choose how you spend your time, how you spend your day. Nobody else gets to be in charge of that. So really take a look and proactively choose those things that are supportive and in alignment for you and help you bring forward those things that matter most, including taking wonderful care of you, supporting and nourishing you. Beautiful. Not someday, but starting today. You can shift those things if they need to be shifted to align and support and empower you. I'm excited to bring our guest aboard and share a little bit about her. You got to hear from her on a heart level as she shared in the opening segment. But here's just a little bit of background so you have perspective and understand a little bit more of where she is speaking from. So Adrian Booher is an author, mental wellness advocate, and a mother of 10 who climbed herself out of the people-pleasing pit that caused decades of anxiety and depression cycles. That's huge, decades of that to come through and climb out of. And now she is passionate about helping you find joy and fulfillment in life. Please lean in. Warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and joyful Adrian Booher to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You are welcome.
Oh,
I'm excited to have you joining us. And I wanted to take a moment and just have you share why. I love to start our conversations there. Why is this work of helping people, really being the advocate for them, why is that personally so important to you?
is important to me because I recognized the difference. There are a lot of wonderful, awesome people out there who have changed their lives, but coming out of a crash or some great, big, huge event or some great, big tragedy. It could be a family thing. It could be medical thing. But then there are those of us who just have such a slow slide down into the pit that we don't even know we're there. And that's where I was. I didn't even realize I was in a pit, and until I started looking around, and I couldn't see anything but dirt. And realizing, wait, how did I get here? What's going on? I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. I was, making people happy. I was trying to be a good mom. I was trying to be a good wife, a good community member. I was doing everything I was supposed to be doing. And why was I down in this pit? And I realized it was because I'd lost myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. If somebody asked me, well, what's my favorite color? I have a standard answer. It's all of them. But I'm like, well, what about, in this moment? Do I have a favorite color, my favorite food, my favorite this, my favorite that? And I realized I wasn't paying attention to me. I wasn't giving myself the same respect that I was giving everyone else. And so I didn't know who I was anymore. I didn't know what gifts were mine or what gifts I was just using to help, to meet everybody's expectations. I didn't know, and even if they were, I didn't have joy in it because I was focused on other people's joy. And I needed to connect. I needed to connect on a soul level, connect from who I was, not just my role, either mom or co-community member, whatever. I needed to connect from my soul, and the best way to do that is to share.
Thank you for sharing, and I'm curious as you share, what was an indicator for those of our listeners who maybe have had that slow slide too and don't know that they perhaps have lost part of themselves or they have gotten to such an extent of people pleasing that they're a little bit lost in the process. So you shared one way that you recognized was that you didn't know what was my favorite color. What do I like? What don't I like? That's a great check-in. Do you have any other indicators or things someone may want to ask or explore to see if perhaps there's some balance that needs to be brought in?
It was kind of a general feeling of discontent, that even the things I thought would bring me joy didn't really. I was like, well, I hope they like that. And it came with some resentment. Well, I worked hard on that, so they better enjoy it, kind of a thing. Even though I knew I did a good job, I knew that I did what I was supposed to, it didn't give me satisfaction because I wasn't doing it for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, and that, doing it for others, and then you're kind of dependent on feeling good based on their response, whatever it may be. Like, it gives your power away. So I could see that, being resentful or frustrated, worked really hard, and they don't even see or acknowledge or appreciate, and, it creates this whole thing. Yes. So I think that's a really great thing to reflect on.
And then you try to do something a little bit, it's a cycle, and you try to do something a little bit more, and then you get the same response or the same result. And even when they're happy about it, I was still somewhat, they ought to be happy because I put a lot of work into that, It wasn't, I put work into that. I'm so glad it came out well. It was, they better be happy kind of a thing. It's just that wrinkling resentment. And it was, I had moments of joy. I had moments of happiness. I have a family. I have beautiful relationships with them. But it was inside.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. No, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And I think it's great food for thought for all of our listeners. And I know one thing I've noticed when, I have gotten out of balance, it's sometimes because I have chosen, nobody made me, but I've chosen to give more than I could really give of my energy, of my time, of whatever it is. And then it's like I get stretched thin and then get frustrated over something that normally wouldn't frustrate me, or they didn't appreciate it enough because they don't see the sacrifice I made. Yet I chose to do that. What I've learned is I step back and I realize, okay, Rebecca, you gave too much in this. Now recognize that, and how do you want to move forward? That's a choice you made. They didn't even ask. you did this.
Yes.
And this cranky, tired, frustrated feeling is not your normal state. And that's a good indicator. Okay, something's off. What do I need to bring into balance?
Yes, we give away our power. We give away our choices because we think that's how we're supposed to work.
Yep.
Society gives us that message, I think. But again, as you pointed out, it's my choice to receive that message because society has a lot of messages they throw at you. And I think that people-pleasing path is fairly easy, because it's clear.
Yeah. So I'm curious because you unraveled decades of these patterns and that had created anxiety and depression and, not even kind of losing yourself a little bit, not even knowing what you liked anymore, even the color. And how did you start to come out of this? Did you have some sort of a guiding principle, or has that helped you as you navigate forward, continue to find balance? I'd love to know because I know you have a lot around a guiding principle. So I'd love to know how that fits into the journey.
Yes, it was, and I can remember still the day that I was sitting in a workshop. So I had already recognized that there was something going on. I needed something. I needed to change. I needed to find something new, make new discoveries, something. And so I was in a workshop, and I was thinking about the golden rule. Okay, I love all the ancient teachings, especially in the Bible, but there's a lot of wisdom everywhere. And that's one thing that keeps popping up over and over from I think the first recorded mention of it is 4,000 years ago in an ancient Hindu text, and then it pops up again in different religions in different ways. The golden rule that says, do unto others what you would have others do unto you. And I realized the first thing you have to know, okay, so if I'm going to treat somebody else the way I want to be treated, what do I first have to know, Rebecca?
How you want to be treated.
That second part, how I want to be treated. And I thought, what do I want? What do I want? I wasn't even sure what I wanted anymore. I knew what I thought my husband wanted. I knew what I thought my kids wanted, what everybody at church wanted from me, everybody at community wanted from me. What do I want? And then I looked around. I thought, I don't know if anybody knows what they want anymore because you see people, grasping at things. And do we stop to check in? And that's what the golden rule did for me, is it made me stop. And so any situation you're in, you stop and go, before you say that thing or do that thing, okay, what would I want someone to do for me? And you it's walk a mile in another's shoes. That's another way of saying it. Put yourself there and say, what would I want someone to do for me? And almost 100% of the time, it changes how I show up. It changes what I think. It changes what I say. Changes what I do. Because I look inside.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Wonderful. And so I'm curious, as you looked inside and it started to shift your response, how you showed up. Is there a tip that you can give people as they start to do this and they start to lean in and shift? Because change can be hard. Making a shift like that, remembering to ask any tip or advice you'd give as they start asking that question.
What helped me, I think, more than anything to encapsulate it is to see it as a mirror. Like when you get up in the morning, you look in the mirror, you fix your hair, you fix your makeup, if you wear makeup, or whatever, catch that flyaway. And then throughout the day, as you, you go to the bathroom, you check the mirror again, you flip that little towel, make sure it's laying flat, and wipe that little mascara smudge, and you look at yourself again. Okay, yes, I'm ready to face. This is what I want to look like. This is how I want to present myself. It's an inner mirror. It gives you a moment to check in and say, is this really how I want to show up? Is this that thing I was going to say? Would I want someone to say that to me? Would I want in a situation? And sometimes actually the answer is yes. Yeah, I think I would need a kick in the pants. The golden rule isn't just about being nice. It's about being true. It's about being who you need to be. And you know what? Sometimes if I was acting the way that some people are acting, yes, I would want a kick in the pants, but I would want somebody to do it with love, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Kick me in the pants and then show me they love me and offer me some help.
Exactly.
So it's a mirror. It's my inner mirror. It shows me who I am inside and what I really, truly want.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you. This is great. And we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I want you to think about some of the insight that Adrian is sharing with us. Really starting to ask those questions before we act, really taking that pause and checking in, looking at that inner mirror, just like we look at the outer mirror sometimes. Make sure that we're checking in and showing up the way we really want to present ourselves, the way we really want to be. Make those choices that align with that are true to who you are, who you're becoming, and how you want to be. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
A little birdie told me Voice America is on X. Follow us at Voice America TRN.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to empowering women, transforming lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and that opportunity to really stop, pause, and reflect. I find we can make such amazing shifts in the pauses. Those little 1 minute, 30-second, 2-minute pauses. If we stop, pause, and choose, it's amazing over time the shifts that we're able to bring into our life, how we're able to grow and align. So I love what Adrian's been sharing, some of her wisdom and insight. And not only is she an expert in this space, that she also has written a book to support and help people. And so I wanted to take a few minutes and talk about that a little bit. So Adrian, can you share why a book?
Because that's a good way to share stuff. And it can go out to anybody, anywhere. And I can open it up and read it myself. I find myself at least once a week kicking myself and going, dang, I need to read my book again. Because you know how changes are. It takes a while.
Well, I love it. And that it's this tool you get to use yourself. How beautiful is that? So it supports you.
Yes.
It supports others. And it's something tangible that people can be reminded, flip back to a certain section. I think that's just beautiful. So can you share the title of your book and what you hope people discover as they lean into it?
It's called Love Yourself First, Finding Joy in the Golden Rule. And it's a 7-step journey, the steps that I lined out for myself as I was working through this. And I had 5 steps at first, and I was considering that complete. And I got to serious writing on my book, and I realized, wait, there's a couple more steps I need. And so I stuck those in there, and it totally completed the process that I used and that I needed and that I still use. It's just a good all-around way to increase your joy and your self-awareness.
Well, I love that. And I appreciate you sharing that you use it yourself, because I think sometimes we think authors, speakers, writers, experts are on a pedestal and they have arrived and never need to be refreshed or learn things again. And so I love that it's a tool that you're using and you use on an ongoing basis. They honored that, called it, you know what, there's a little more needed here as you're creating it. And you were willing to honor that flow, add that in, and really bring those steps, tips, and advice to all of the readers. So I just celebrate that. I honor that. And thank you for that reminder that, we're all on a journey and we all need to be reminded of things from time to time.
Yes, thank you. And I thought that too before I wrote a book. I thought, I wrote the book, as I was finishing up. But then I was already getting inklings as I was writing, because I would make new realizations, with every chapter. Oh, my goodness, this is how this works. Oh, and this is why this works. And that is why this, and this is why that, kind of putting more pieces together. And in those 3 years since publishing the book, I just keep putting them together and preparing my speech for your competition. Or your call for speakers. I made another really, really cool realization, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is so powerful. And I also collected stories from people. Any other random people I knew, I said, hey, do you have time for a phone call? And I would ask them, what's the hardest thing that they went through? And how did you get out of it? And so I had about 30 people's stories in there along with mine.
Oh, wow.
And so that's sometimes what I do. I go, wait, what did she do? Yeah, I want to read back over her story again, because that was such an amazing story. So it's a lot of fun. I
love that you've
and like
included
you said,
that.
I feel good into it.
See, and that you have those other people's stories. We can be so encouraged and inspired by others. And when we're faced with challenges or things that are really hard for us, to see someone who has walked through it, who has come through, and what they did to do so really is inspiring. And it gives us food for thought, because it's great to know we're not alone in challenges. It's not if, it's when, and that we can come through them and learn from each other. We don't have to experience every hard thing to learn the lessons. We can learn from each other. What a gift that you've added that into your book, along with what you've discovered those 7 steps are to really help us move into a much more balanced, joyful place. Oh, as this has gone out into the world and continues to go out into the world, what is your hope? What do you hope readers walk away with, discover, or empowered by, especially in your book?
That they have not that their hope, that they picked up the book because they had hope, and that they walk away from the book with a sure knowledge that they can be happier and more joyful, and that they can, not that they're not going to cycle in and out again, because, some depression is just a part of the cycle of life. You get down, you get up, because if you're not down, then you're never truly up either. And that's kind of, but in your cycling, that you recognize, I am still joyful, because, newsflash, you can be somewhat depressed and joyful at the same time, because you know that this is just a cycle, that you're down and you're going to go up. And that is where the power is, in knowing that I am still who I am. I can still look into my heart. I can still see the amazing person that I am, and I can still be joyful, even though I'm taking this break and just kind of laying low.
Beautiful. I love this. And so is this part of how, when you face a challenge that you personally have found helps you navigate through, is remembering that, or there's some additional pieces of advice or perspectives you would add to that?
Yes, absolutely. I have perspective on everything, Rebecca. I can talk for ages. I will not, I promise. But I think one of the keys is how I got my first step. I just asked myself in a quiet moment, what do I want most? What is the most basic, fundamental thing I want from others, period? And my answer was, I want to be acknowledged and accepted for who I am. Just for who I am, pure and simple. This is who I am. This is how I'm showing up. Acknowledge it. Accept it. Don't try to make me into somebody else. Don't try to make me what you think you need for me to be. Just be open to who I am. And then I have to turn around and do that for myself.
I love that. I'm just letting it sink in, because to me, I'm going back to that golden rule, that principle that you talked about, the guiding principle about doing unto others. And with what you just shared, you're turning around and you're doing it for yourself, treating yourself the way you wanted to be treated, the way you want to show up and acknowledge. And whatever that thing is that you want most, giving that self to you, that just takes all of your power back fully, and is not dependent on anyone else's mood or whatever they're going through, or whatever their thing is. You're able to really stand in that. So I just got very excited. I wanted that to sink in for everybody, how powerful that insight is. It's so good.
Yes. I used to hear, you hear talk about the golden rule and you think, oh, well, that's when you're treating other people, but I'm just here with myself. And I'm going to repeat that. Here with myself. How am I treating myself? We can use the golden rule on ourselves.
Beautiful. I think another thing, so I'm curious about your perspective on this, that sometimes we'll have actions or things that look a certain way on the outside, or we're doing this, we're doing that we should be doing the way we should be treating ourselves, that kind of thing.
Yes.
But there's a whole nother world going on inside and an inner dialogue, in fact, that we say things to ourselves we would never, ever say to another that we love or care for.
Ever. Yes,
and we can become so critical of ourselves and hard on ourselves. So if anyone, I'm not saying anyone else does that, but if anyone does, do you have a tip or a piece of advice to start shifting that to be a little maybe kinder, graceful, loving to ourselves? Any advice around that?
My first piece of advice is to acknowledge that, which is step number one. This is actually a story in step number 2 that you've seen the memes and some posts about how, I was just crying inside, but I've had a fake smile on my face. And I just felt like a hypocrite. I have this pasted smile on, and yet I'm so depleted inside. Own it. Acknowledge it. I pasted a smile on my face because that's how I chose to show up. I'm not just going to show everybody my inner soul. And that's okay. It's okay to be different on the outside than you are on the inside. And step number 2, believe the best about it. Don't just acknowledge it and go, I can't believe I'm, da-da-da-da-da. But acknowledge that and then believe that it is enough, that you are enough, and that how you are, what you just acknowledged, is okay.
Beautiful. So acknowledging how we're showing up, and then I think choosing, we can start to make choices to bring us more and more in alignment so the inner and the outer start to match a little bit more. I think that gives us a bit more peace and alignment and congruency.
Rebecca, you've stumbled on step 3.
Look, in order. I love it.
Because it just makes sense. As you start talking about this and thinking about this, you have a progression of thoughts, a progression of, hey, well, if this is so, then I can be choosing better. I can consider, stop and consider things, look at the consequences, and make that choice. And, that's how it works.
Oh, I love it. I get a gold star.
Cool. You get 5. I'm giving you 5 gold stars.
I receive. So what's step number 4?
Step number 4 is distance the drama. And it was about this time that I realized, hey, I've got steps in A, B, C, D. And I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so cool. This is so fun. So, yes, we have A, B, C, D, E, F, G steps. Anyway, so D is distance, the drama. You have to look in and make the choice, consider the different things, but you also have to distance a little bit so that you can see a wider picture. There are more forces at work than just me and just the emotions that are flowing around me. Just kind of step back, step away from it, and go, what's this wider picture? And take all those things into consideration as you make your choice and as you figure out how you want to show up.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, I feel like you've given us a lot of food for thought, things to stop, pause, consider, have a little distance so we have another perspective, a bigger view that can help us process and look at where we're at and kind of bring things more into alignment and congruency and more joyful and peaceful, even, I would say. And we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do so, listeners, I want you to use these 2 minutes and really reflect on what Adrian has shared. And what is a step or 2 that you can take now that you know this information? You're really focusing in on it during our time together. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Gruyter's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at speakertalentsearch.com. That's speakertalentsearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. voiceamericaempowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and have written down some great notes. Couple of steps that you can take as you move forward in your day, choices that you are now choosing to make based on what you've discovered and leaned into and realized during our time together today. Look back at the notes that you wrote down at the very beginning of the show when you were exploring what it is that you need and are willing to receive. See how some of that may have shifted or moved forward in a powerful way for you. Really standing in that you get to choose who you are and how you are stepping forward, how you are choosing to navigate, what you're saying yes to, what you're saying no to, including the thoughts and the words that you tell yourself. How powerful is that we can really take control of or direct in a powerful, positive way, even what we say to ourselves, and we take in and release all that does not serve. We have been talking with our amazing Adrian as she's sharing and walking us through a number of the principles or steps, I should say, to guide and support us on our journey. And she's generous in giving me gold stars. I even got a couple of gold stars while you guys were at commercial breaks. I've been accumulating them, and I love gold stars. And I want all of you to know that you can give yourself gold stars too. If you have an aha moment or something sparked, or you've taken that step, or you're on the journey, gold stars. Will you echo that, Adrian? We're going to give out gold stars?
Yes, absolutely. And you have an infinite supply of gold stars inside yourself, so start pasting them up every time.
Beautiful. Love it. So lots of gold stars to go around and share, and it doesn't take away from anyone else. There are a zillion of stars in the sky, and they just help us all shine more light. room for all. So embrace those gold stars. Very excited to have my collection growing today. I appreciate it, Adrian. Thank you. And as we are bringing our time together to a close, I just wanted to give people an opportunity to be able to connect with you on a deeper level, have an ongoing connection and relationship. So what is the best way for people to connect in, go deeper? I'd love for you to share the full title of your book too, where they can get it, just all the different ways they can tap into all you're bringing forward for us.
Okay. I have the best place is on social media. I am most active on Facebook. Just Adrian Booher. You can find me easily. I also have an author page, which you'll probably find Adrian Booher on Life. And then I have an Instagram called Adrian on Life. And my email is open for adrian.work.booher@gmail.com. The title of my book, which is available on Amazon, is Love Yourself. And your and self are two separate words in the title. Self in all caps. Love yourself first. Finding Joy in the Golden Rule by Adrian Booher.
Beautiful.
My books, my website is adrianonlife.com. And that is kind of under construction. So if you go to it, it will be there. You can look around a bit, but there will be, it's coming online or I'm offering more things all the time. So go there. I do have a page of I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Inner mirror tools. Okay, so your heart, seeing your heart as a mirror that I would love to give you, but I don't have that form up on my website yet. So if you email me, you can get that, or message through Facebook Messenger. I would love to connect with you because connections are so awesome and incredible.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for sharing all the different ways we can connect in, for the opportunity to get some of those tools. I appreciate that. And I love that your website is dynamic and growing. So something that people can check back in periodically and see the latest and greatest. So that's something for people to engage in and follow. I love it. And listeners, I'm also thinking one of the ways you can find joy, alignment, is leaning in and sharing the gift of you with the world. You're uniquely, wonderfully made. There's no one else just like you. And I believe the biggest gift you can give, the biggest light you can shine in the world, the biggest way you can bring the change you're wanting to see is be it, and then be willing to share who you are. And one of the avenues we've created to help you do that is called the Speaker Talent Search. You can learn all about it at speakertalentsearch.com. It is part of our give back. There's no cost or investment to participate in this. And it's an opportunity for you to lean in and really share what you're wanting to share with the world. So I encourage you, check it out. speakertalentsearch.com. There's an application process. There are time sensitivities. So the deadline for the next round is the end of May. So put that on your to-do list if you feel that call in your heart to go check out speakertalentsearch.com and take that step of completing the application and turning it in. This is part of how you can get on our show. We can help support you in reaching more people with the amazing gift of who you are and the wisdom and insight you've been given to bring to the world. We'd love to align with you in that. So I encourage you, take a few moments at the end of our time together today to really look at what is being placed on your heart. Pause, and then choose from that space who you're going to be, how you're going to show up. How can you be extra kind, grace-filled, and supportive and loving to you? And then share from that place. Take a step forward and choose wherever you go, whatever you do, choose to bloom where you're planted and shine. Have an amazing week, everyone, and I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.